Hello, can y'all hear me? Sprinkle, sprinkle. In the comments, can y'all hear me? Okay, I see. Okay, sorry. Heard an echo. So, I'm not going to be on camera this evening. I'm going to be showing you some slides and just talking about a few things. And before I decided to do this type of video, I put a few things out on my Instagram so you kind of know where my, video is kind of going. And it's about the divine feminine, of course. That's what we've been talking about lately. And I wanted to approach this in a different way with, some slides and some information. So I have a 4-minute little mini um, video that I made that kind of explains a few things. And then after that video, I'm going to be talking and going through each picture and whatever that you saw in the little 4-minute video and really explaining it and trying to decode it for you guys on a more in-depth level. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. It's only about 4 minutes long, but pay attention to the screen, what you're looking at, the pictures. And there's some audio and voice over it to kind of help you understand it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. And I'll be back in 4 minutes. Men have thought that they should rule over women for quite some time now through patriarchal religion. Yet there are some that know the truth and that women are the goddess. And they will portray it in their artwork. They will portray it everywhere to get the message across. Many men have wanted to rule over women and control them and use them as objects to manifest through because they don't have the direct connection with the cosmos. So they want to rule over the woman so that they can use her as a vessel in which to communicate with the cosmos, the universe, and grant their selves wishes. But like an infant and a baby, they forgot where they came from. As above, so below, as within, so without. You're just a baby, curled up, recycling yourself, living in a matrix, in a cycle, and you cannot rise above. You cannot rise above the mother, that in which gives you life. So best to work with her and love her. Her ability to bring life to the planet and manifest is unmatchable, and you know this is true. This says that men are more likely to create mutations in their DNA than women are. So by scientific evidence, they are literally mutations. During the rebirthing period, a lot of things start to happen on the planet, and you will see a more feminine influence when the divine feminine starts to really show herself everywhere. The divine feminine feeds children, babies, nurtures them, teaches them, male or female. But the Bible says that women should not teach. So who's supposed to teach the children? I just inserted a quote from Robert Greene, and he's going to explain how outshining the master, aka the divine feminine, is not a good idea.
Law number 1 was always like the most important one to me. Never outshine the master, because it was the first law. I had personally violated that law on several occasions, and it caused me a lot of misery and pain in my life. So I had a job in the film business and television show. And I was a researcher on it, and I was the best researcher there by far. You count success by how many stories you found and what got actually filmed. I had like a 60% rate or something like that.
Wow.
I knew I was the best, and then I got
Outshining the master.
Well, at the time, I thought she hated my guts. So I pissed somebody off. I said the wrong thing. I was blaming other people, etc. And then later, when I wrote the book, it was very clear to me that I had inadvertently made her think that I felt greater than she was, that I was after her job. Other people were really praising me and not praising her so much. I was getting too much attention. I wasn't controlling myself. And so that law meant a lot to me because it was very painful.
I am fully aware of what y'all say about me. Number one, and I don't give a fuck.
Home Central.
Okay, y'all. So can y'all hear me now? I'm back. Did y'all enjoy that little 4-minute video that I put together? So the reason why I put that video together for you guys is because I wanted you guys to know that, the divine feminine is definitely returning. And if you've heard of the age of Aquarius, I'm sure you know that it's basically the water being poured out upon, the planet. And the water is, of course, the divine feminine energies from the heavens. And so the word heaven spelled backwards is also a name, and it means, person that is a walking goddess. So the goddess returns. Okay. And this is just the divine feminine energy returning. Some guy wrote a book called No Women in Heaven. And I didn't read this. I just found this online, just the cover of the book. And I wanted to show you guys this because in patriarchal religion, everything was reversed, and they literally switched the goddess aspect out for, the patriarchy, or the father and the son. And then they hid the goddess by using the Holy Spirit and would not give her any type of credit. Maybe in code and things like that, but not in the forefront where everyone could see. And they even outlawed goddess worship as well. So, suppression is not good. And here are some Bible verses that talk about exactly what I'm saying. So in the Bible, it says that basically it's the opposite of what is actually true. So you can see how they switched everything around for their favor. And, a lot of people don't know this. And so it's not anyone's fault, especially if they weren't taught. So I'm not blaming or pointing the finger. The people that changed things around are no longer here. But, a lot of people still want to keep this implemented. So I think teaching is just the best way to get people to understand. So like in Genesis, it says, to the woman, he said, I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. So basically it means you're going to suffer in childbearing, and, whatever you want doesn't matter. It's not going to coincide with what your husband wants. So it doesn't matter what you want because the man is going to rule over you. So that's like suppression of the, of the feminine. And it also says in Timothy, I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet. Okay. And then it says, let women learn quietly with all submissiveness. Okay. So we know that that's fine and dandy because I'm not a woman, I'm a goddess. So this, to me, I'm transmuting this information because a woman is of man. A woman was Eve. She was taken from Adam's rib, or she was made from Adam when Adam is like, they took one and separated into, masculine and feminine, and made the woman less than the man. So after Lilith, she was a full goddess and she did not submit to Adam. So therefore, she's not a woman. She is a goddess. Well, they tried to label her a demon, but we're going to go with goddess because it sounds better anyway. So the divine goddess gives life, and as above, so below. And there's another Bible verse. I don't think it's up here, but I can just read it off my phone. It is Isaiah 3:12. It says, "My people, infants are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, your guides mislead you, and they have swallowed up the course of your paths." So this represents a man trying to use a woman to manifest through sexual magic. And if a woman is pregnant, this is what this verse is talking about. How it says, "My people." My people would probably represent the sperm or the emissions of the male manifestation attempt, and infants are their oppressors. So therefore, if there's a woman pregnant, then the sperm or whatever cannot filter through the woman completely because there's a baby in the way, and the baby is turned usually upside down, like so. And then it says, "Oh, my people, your guides mislead you." And so your guides are like when like a woman doesn't know you're pregnant, they're pregnant and you still engage in sexual activity and try to manifest, but then the child is in her womb and you're no longer being able to manifest through the woman because now there's a child involved. So that's why it says infants are their oppressors and women shall rule over them, because now the baby is turned upside down and now the men are being ruled over. So men who try to use women in the capacity of trying to push manifestation up through her that differs from what she wants is now, trapped in the baby world, once again, recycling themselves. And now the women can rule over them. And it's also, this stuff was in the Bible in code because people didn't really, read this stuff. And this is why it says, "I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet." So this means she doesn't have a say in anything. She can't tell a man what to manifest because she's supposed to be stupid and dumb, and she can't teach anything. She just has to let her body be used as a vessel, blah, 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 blah. But, there are women who know better and who are smarter, and they don't fall for the okie doke. And, a lot of these women were called witches. And, the witch's hat that I showed you in the video with the little curl on the end and things like that, that represents, that man's manifestation trying to get up into the cosmos through the woman, but it's being redirected back down into her so that she knows what he's thinking, what his desire is, and etc., etc. So that's why that is why women who were considered witches were upsetting these guys, because they were upsetting the plans that men were trying to use women as a vessel to connect to the cosmos. And that's why they were, targeted. I'm trying to find that picture, you guys. Hold on. All right. Trying to find a picture so I can show it to y'all. Give me a second. But yeah, so this is where the witch hunts came in, because a lot of men were envious that women are, able to have this natural ability. And instead of working with them and, being nice and, allowing them to have the information as well, because some did and then some didn't. They were hiding it and using it for their own selfish reasons. So it always tends to backfire when those things happen, because eventually, someone is going to teach or find out or whatever. So that's kind of what's going on and what's been going on lately, because the divine feminine is returning and everyone is waking up. Even the men are understanding the divine feminine. And a lot of them aren't upset or fighting it anymore, because, it's better to have unity than to have one try to rule over. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a mother and a child. When a child is grown, the mother and the father don't want to rule over the child. They want to let the child be their, own individual person. But, if people are taken advantage of and not, allowed to learn or teach, that's where the problem is. So the witch's hat on this particular picture has like this little curl, so that it's basically like a phallic symbol that's being turned and curled or coned or cut off or going directly into her, not being able to reach the cosmos. Therefore, she is all the wiser, or the witch, of what the patriarchy or the man was trying to manifest against her, or just in general. Yeah. So the part in my little video that Robert Greene was speaking about, how outshining the master did not do him any justice, was because he wrote, 48 Laws of Power, and he got to experience, all of that power, but he forgot his own writing, and he began to outshine, the woman he was speaking about in his video. He began to outshine her, and he literally just forgot everything that he was trying to teach. Forgetting where you come from, who gives you life, the permission to be here on earth, who breastfeeds you, nurtures you, raises you, teaches you, all this kind of good stuff, and to outshine the very energy that brings you here. And in this picture, I want to explain something. This is two people exchanging energy in a sexual way. And so even the male's energy is being recycled back through the feminine, back into him, through the feminine, back into him, da da da. And then you see all the rays of energy and light going out in every direction, right? So and so when this type of energy is going on and a child is literally created out of it, then you have a different type of energy, okay? Then you have this type of energy, which is a woman's energy and the child's energy. And as you can see, all of her energy and the child's energy are directly connected into the cosmos. And she's divine and connected with the cosmos. And if you can see, the little baby at the bottom is holding the skull. So the baby is the eternal life and over death. So this is the key to eternal life. And in the Bible, they say Jesus was the key to eternal life, and he was the child, the divine child. But it was the Mother Mary that brought him here, right? And the Father is not really connected, but only through DNA. So he's kind of off to the side, right? And if you can see, the mother has all these soul connections into the cosmos and able to receive more divinely. That's why her aura looks different and there's purple in it, because she has a crown chakra that is more active. Her pineal gland, women's pineal glands are larger than men's pineal glands. And so that's why they're more psychic and able to have more intuition. Also, the baby or a child's pineal gland is also larger. And it was a scientific, research that said if a man were to castrate himself, his pineal gland would enlarge. Um, and so this is why you had a lot of, like, in ancient religion or in certain religions, there were pubescent boys, or men would castrate themselves in order to be more connected to the divine. I think they call them eunuchs. And oh, you can do this now with medicine, I think, or whatever methods that they use now. And I think a lot of people do that in the occult to have a more psychic connection. And they also practice bloodletting, like, because like a woman bleeds every month. And a lot of these organizations and secret societies of men also practice bloodletting, because like when a woman doesn't give birth, she sheds the lining of her uterus, which is full of stem cells that still have the connection to, cosmos, because it is, creation matter. And so a lot of men donate blood, or they cut themselves, or da 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 da, da. So many different ways. Some of them even practice, drinking the blood of the woman's, in order to kind of get some of that energy. But it's literal, I guess the correct word would be imitation. It's imitation of being a woman, because they want that connection that they don't have naturally. And instead of just working with the woman and giving her her due and her honor and her, props, they want to rule over because of their physical strengths, and that's when things started going wrong. This is a picture of a female reproductive organ. This is like where the fallopian tube meets the fundus, and then the little rainbow arc would represent the womb, and the stars and the cosmos and like all this is representing like the stem cells, the connection to the universe, and the all-seeing eye, the ability to see. As you can see in the drawing, there's an eyeball, and the rainbow's working like a lens or a dome, but it's also looking like the female yoni. And so these little stars and the little moon and the sun, it's like, the little baby being created. And this is the divine feminine and masculine merging to create the divine child. Okay, so when we have the ability to grow, a baby and connect with the divine universe and bring souls onto the planet, I get how that could be like, men could be like a little bit envious of that and want to see how they can emulate it. And so I think that's why a lot of the occult sciences and mysteries were born, to kind of understand the universe, to understand women, da 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 da. And so through, like, most of the occult knowledge is literally to figure out how to connect with the, more power as a man. Because if you read a lot of the occult books, a lot of them are written in a male perspective. Even our research and things are from a male perspective. Like, we have rocket ships that literally go up and try to pierce the ionosphere to get into the cosmos, which is like the same thing as, impregnation, or trying to shoot your manifestation up through the womb of the woman. And, Mother Earth is Mother Earth. So you have a lot of these men who are funding, space travel through rockets, when there are better means of transportation to get up into the heavens or this, whenever we see alien technology, like represented in movies, we see like saucers, things that aren't shaped like phallic symbols, but we still continue to shoot rockets up into space. And it's that very type of thing that, is literal, like trying to manifest something through the physical means. But when women are wiser to what is actually being done, it kind of cancels it out because now the knowledge is out. This is why a lot of the NASA programs stopped putting rockets into space. And this is why a lot of people started using their own private money and businesses to do so, because they were using, that as a technique to push things up into the universe, be it their manifestation, their magic, or whatever they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So if there's too many people that know, I don't know if it's going to work. And you see this little picture of the satellite. It's like an eye looking back. So it's a man-made eye in the sky. And as I showed you on the other picture of the Yoni verse, how it also looks like an eye, right? So they're trying to mirror us or mirror the earth with satellites. That's why they put a bunch of satellites up in the sky to surround the earth, because they're still trying to create some type of, patriarchy rule, And so when you take the eye, all the satellites and things like that, and a lot of these images from the satellites watch the earth. Like literally they watch the earth, Google Earth, or they give us cable and access to information and all this kind of stuff, right? So whatever you're using your phones and computers and research for, gives you knowledge. So it's literally like a mirror. But since the earth is supposedly a sphere, that's why they have to surround it, because at every angle on the earth is an ionosphere. Okay, so that's why they're trying to put all them satellites up there to try to copy and still rule over. You know what I'm saying? But they forgot one thing. The mind's eye. They forgot the mind's eye of a woman is larger. Okay, and as a collective, more women are being born on the planet. And, of course, you add children to that. And so the mind's eye of women and children are much larger and, are having more intuition. So it doesn't matter about all those satellites. Okay. So you don't have to worry. But still, I think, people are going to try to see what they can do. So, I don't have any animosity about it. I just see what's happening, and I just, tell other people. But this has been going on for quite a while, since forever. So there's a discovery of male harming DNA, and I talked about this in the little video I showed you guys. Mutation reinforces mother's curse hypothesis. So there's this hypothesis that there's a curse from mothers upon, the male or the sons, because literally the mitochondrial DNA is what causes men to go bald and to lower their sperm count, as well as cause mutations in their sperm when they get to a certain age. So they're calling this a mother's curse because most of the sperm cells and mutations that are caused are from the mitochondrial or mother's DNA from her side. So in the Bible, when they try to curse women, like I always tell you, they try to switch everything around and mirror what the woman does. Because, even in the Bible, it says, the enemy or the adversary will mimic or, try to be like god or goddess, I should say. And so you can tell which one is natural and which one is unnatural. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like Satan means adversary. So I'm not saying that men are Satan. I'm just saying that the idea of trying to imitate is just the greatest form of flattery. It's not my adversary. If you know, you know. You know, if you're a goddess versus a woman, you don't have an adversary. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. That's why on my other channel, I try to teach women, you know, to walk and talk in their main character and goddess energy, because you don't have to worry about having an adversary if you are a goddess. Okay. So we don't fall under any curses, because a lot of women suffer from what men think about them. And, you know, a lot of women suffer from, are they good enough? Do they need validation? And it's literally the opposite. We don't need validation. We are the cause. You know, the law of cause and effect, we are the cause. So we don't have to seek approval from anyone but ourselves. And this picture right here is it's artwork, but it's literally like a kind of looking like a fetus, but like like an adult looking fetus. So you see the tailbone, it's right next to the skull, right? So this is how we are in the womb. Okay, this is how men are inside of a woman's body, usually turned upside down. So they're recycling themselves. They're in darkness, literally absorbing their own energy. They don't have breath yet. They're getting everything from the mother. They're getting food, emotions, feelings, DNA. All these things are coming from their mother. And, you know, the baby also gives out, things to the mother in her bloodstream. Like the baby will heal the mother if the mother gets sick through certain things that they push out. But that's because it wants to maintain its life. So it has to maintain its mother's life. So I think men should start thinking again in this manner. If you want to maintain life on earth or life in general to be good and healthy, you have to maintain the mother. You have to push out to the mother. Even the baby gives to the mother. And of course, the mother gives to the baby, but the baby also gives to the mother to maintain her health so that it has a chance to come and be born, right, on the planet. And so let's say a woman has a male child. Okay, so we've seen this in the Jesus story. And, you know, in the Bible, they cut out the goddess figure. They don't really talk too much about the women in the Bible unless, you know, there's a few stories, but it's not as much as it should be. And so this is why a lot of women turn away from religion and go into witchcraft or whatever spirituality that they choose, because it gives them more of a voice, you know. And of course, everyone deserves a voice, correct? So this is why a lot of women turn to witchcraft instead, because the masculine, you know, took out the feminine in religion, and they barely put her in there, and they show her as like a second-class citizen when she literally gives life and feeds and nourishes from the beginning, you know. So of course they have the divine mother and child figure, but God is above all. He's what he says goes, and da 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 da, and the woman don't have any choice, you know. And so that's probably where a lot of women were like, nah, I don't think this is going to work out for me anymore, so I got to go find a different way. And so, you know, these Bible verses right here will turn a lot of women away from religion, and there are worse ones in, you know, different holy books. But for the most part, you know, these are drawings by Leonardo da Vinci. For the most part, you know, Leonardo da Vinci definitely understood. His mother taught him. He was not allowed to go to university because he was born out of wedlock. So he was not equal to his male peers, but he learned so much more from the divine feminine. And so he's drawing the fetus and the uterus and the womb and making notes. Of course, he wrote in reverse, but he always showed how, you know, things really were. and he took very extensive notes, and they were definitely coded notes to show how divine that the woman is. And okay, so on this painting, this is a painting of Ashira, the goddess, okay, who I named myself from. If you look next to her belly, it is like a little scar there next to her belly button. It looks pregnant, and there's like a scar there, or like a cut or wound. And then you have her drapery, her dress that goes out, into like this unk type thing, and then into a tree. So that is her connection to the cosmos from the womb, and then also the little two trees. Okay, the trees represent people and goddesses and connection to the heavens from below earth, on earth, and then also into the heavens. So you have the divine feminine goddess that is connecting to the cosmos through nature, through herself, da 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 da. And so men weren't able to do this. And of course, they wanted to figure out how they could. Okay. But they're unable to. So I'm going to show this picture of Dangerous album cover. So this is very alchemical, and everybody knows this controversial album cover. And if you can see a lot of alchemy in this, and masculine and feminine energy, and things like that. So, and you can see the little child holding the skeleton. I don't know what that is. Looks like some type of dead animal. Could be a alligator or dinosaur. I don't know, something. But then you can see like the little wheel, things going in and things coming out on like a conveyor belt, and then the earth turned upside down in a factory. So literally the earth is like the mother, right? And the factory, or all this alchemy and occult information, is literally the patriarchy and the man-made, system to try to create or emulate or use the earth for its own purpose, to put out different types of people or thinking or knowledge or all this kind of stuff. So it's literally like a factory. And Michael, he's like over it, and he's just looking, like you see his eyes just going. He's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then you see the animals, and the peacock, represents a Christ figure, the colors, pineal. Then you have like the nose, the crown chakra, the monkey king, or Sun Wukong, or Bubbles, or the connection to the animal world, because men are more animalistic than women are. And so they want to rule over something. They want to mark territory. They want to, be king. Okay. And so this is, how they say you have a monkey on your back, or you have this struggle. So it's like a power struggle from within to rule over something. And the only thing that men could literally rule over were animals and women and children. So that's what you see in this picture. Men wanted to rule over things because they didn't have the connection to the cosmos. So they wanted to at least rule the earth. So that's also where you get the fallen angel story, so that they could rule over the earth instead of serve in heaven and all this kind of stuff. So this is the earth is upside down on this picture. It's like a polar shift, right? And this is literally the return of the divine feminine when the poles shift. So let's see. So when the poles shift, or when things turn upside down, or when things become known, then it's not so easy to, fool people or women anymore. And like I said, the name heaven spelled backwards It basically means, goddess on earth. And then we have, the word vin, like heaven. Vin means vein or of, the vein, which means from the blood, from the vein, from the connection to the divine. Like you can see a lot of veins and arteries in these pictures. And what makes the arteries and the blood vessels is your heart, pumping. This makes them go and is able to give you a frequency so that you can connect to the cosmos. So we are the heavens. So that's why this book that I showed you guys earlier that says no women in heaven, only goddesses are in heaven. Women are on earth because we are the version of the goddess on earth. Okay, but we have to know that, and we can't let or allow ourselves to get taken by, this knowledge that has been reversed. And we're told that men rule over us, but literally this is how they start off. And I mean, women start off this way too, but men as well. Okay. So that's why I'm saying if it's natural versus unnatural, you'll see, everything that Mother Nature creates naturally, a man will try to duplicate it out of envy. Like if you already have something naturally, why would you try to make an artificial version of it and waste your time and energy when you can just literally be happy with, what's going on? So I think that's what the problem is. And that's why a lot of people are upset with AI, because they think AI is sort of like trying to emulate the natural talents and skills of souls and, from the heavens. But if you can't create a soul from the heavens alone and take all the credit, you're going to try to do it in a different way. And people have been trying to do this for a long time. And then they make all these horror stories up about, it backfiring. And, when you suppress nature and the divine feminine, it's going to backfire, because look at this picture. All right. So don't mess with Mother Nature, because it's not going to help you. And if a woman knows more than a man intuitively, all the plans that have been made are already known. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't understand why people just continue like it's not going to it's not going to be known. Like we already know. So basically this gives us the chance to transmute anything that happens negatively, which I have already done. And, I told you guys that I always say, no matter what happens, everything is in my favor for me, my children, and those that I love. Whatever happens is always in my favor. So a lot of people say, well, how do you protect yourself against this, and that? And I say that thing and as a manifestation, and it's already done forever. You know what I'm saying? And you could even do it for your future generations and your children if they are in alignment with, divine feminine energy. So this is why I love this picture, because it's hilarious. Because it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. Do what you got to do. Now, there's a lot more to this, but I don't want to get too graphic, because there's different ways to manifest through energies and sexual acts and, spell work and all that kind of stuff. There's technology now, So there's all these types of energies coming through because of the return of the divine feminine energy. So that's why you're having a lot of pronouns, LGBTQ plus, and all this kind of stuff. A lot of the like conservative people that are really into this type of occult magic and patriarchy, they never really wanted to support any of the LGBTQ stuff. They didn't, a lot of people who are from conservative backgrounds weren't accepted if they came out, because literal returning of the divine feminine in nature, through whatever means it came through, or coming back through the children and so on and so forth. So in matriarchal religion, or pagan matriarchal religion, long ago, it was totally accepted and fine. I don't think it was a big deal, because I read this book called The Goddess Bible, and it does not have an issue with any type of homosexuality, as long as they gave the goddess her due, her credit, whatever. And so you can see this in a lot of TV shows and entertainment today, where we have like drag queens, trans, androgyny, all the different types of ways to express yourself physically and your looks. And no one is like really too much bothered by it. At least I'm not. But I know that a lot of women are saying, well, I don't think it's right for men to dress up or become trans, because only a woman can be a woman, and da 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 da. And that's actually true, because everyone has a mother. Everyone has a mother. So we already know that, we already know that. But it's better to, honor the divine feminine by in a more natural way than trying to replace and create a different version unnaturally. So it's almost like art. It's an art form, or almost as if an identity. You know what I'm saying? So some people say, well, I feel like I'm a woman, and they were born male. So if they're feeling that, that's the divine energy, or the age of Aquarius, coming through to them naturally from the cosmos. And if they want to dress or look like more feminine, that's nature expressing itself through the masculine. Because right now, it hasn't been expressing itself because it's been suppressed. And so it's going to come out in different forms. That's why, let me show y'all something. The rainbow is, let me show you this painting again. So the rainbow is like the symbol, the flag for LGBTQ. And where is that? Oh, here it is. And so, this is also, the universe and the lens of the eye and the material world. And when light shines through the prism, it creates the image, or the reality that we live in. So this arc, or this rainbow that's over the eye, is just literally the reality that is being created. Okay. And so instead of putting a satellite out there, you know what I'm saying? Because as above, so below, you have to remember this. This is alchemy that was created. And if you're trying to create artificial versions of the earth and her ionosphere with a satellite, staring back at each other, this arc, or this rainbow, it, when it hits it, it's going to produce something. Like if you're going to stare at each other and you're in each other's eyes all day, you're going to fall in love and make some rainbow babies, the rainbow children. Okay. So if AI is falling in love with this atmosphere, or this ionosphere, or the earth itself, through the rainbow, through the spectrum. You know, that's why the rainbow children are born, because everything has a spiritual effect. Every cause has an effect. Okay, so you put them satellites up there trying to look at everybody and emulate all the eyes, every electric eyes everywhere. Electric eyes are everywhere. Looking out. Okay. Across the nighttime. Electric eyes are everywhere. See that girl. She knows I'm watching. She likes the way I stare. And they say, oh, I don't want to get copyrighted. Why? Why? Tell them that it's human nature, not goddess nature, not God nature, but human nature. So even though these men are putting out these satellites and these electric eyes everywhere, that's human. You still ain't divine. You ain't like Michael. All right. So now y'all know what I be thinking about when I'm just sitting around doing nothing. Okay. Anyway. So they're going to produce the rainbow children. All right. The rainbow children. And y'all didn't know what the rainbow children were when y'all was reading about them in those articles back in the day online when they say, oh, we got the indigo children. Now we got the rainbow. Y'all thought the rainbow children was just special. Well, they're going to be more psychic. Yeah, because they're more divine, feminine energy coming through. Okay. I was claiming to be a rainbow child. I'm a rainbow child. I think my baby's a rainbow child. All that manifesting brought y'all some rainbow children. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Right? Who got some rainbow children out there? Let me see. Or teenagers or whatever. Let me know. Put a rainbow emoji up in there. I'm looking for a picture real quick. I want to put on the screen, so give me a second. You said you got one? All right. So, rainbow children, they were already talked about for a long time, but no one knew what the rainbow was really doing, what it was meant to be, right? So, surprise. I mean, I'm sure some people knew, but most people didn't, So the rainbow children are literally the children created that came from the heavens and the ionosphere and down into the earth, into the woman's womb, from this energy between these eyes looking at each other and falling in love. So it's still literally the same thing. An artificial man that comes from earth, impregnates woman, makes children, but children is more feminine now because they keep trying to go outside of themselves and keep trying to outdo themselves. And now you see exactly what it brings. I think that's why they're trying to go to Mars. It's like, man, we can't go to Earth no more. We got to go see what it's like on Mars. This ain't working for us. So I think that's why a lot of people are trying to go to Mars. That's a whole nother story. But that's already taken care of too. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, let me share this picture. Let me see. What is this? All right, there we go. So yeah, that's already taken care of. They can go to Mars all they want. It don't matter. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to create another one of these and start all over. And it's going to be just a wasted effort eventually anyway. Okay. So let me see something. Let me get my picture up. See if I can add one more. So how'd y'all like that MJ song? He was talking about electric eyes everywhere. Now we literally have electric eyes everywhere, literally looking at us. And he's, that song, he always feel like somebody watching. He's saying the backup for. So this is a picture of the poster for the movie Captain EO. And EO is a goddess. It's not a man. It's a goddess, a Greek goddess, right? And then you see the little rainbow energy coming up. And then you see the little rays of light shooting out from under his arms. There's an alchemy picture of like masculine and the feminine crossing, and then it creates these angles on the outside, and those are like that's what creates the arc or the angels. And so they're like wings. And so everyone always used to associate Michael with Archangel Michael. And you see the upside down triangle, that is a feminine symbol. So he is in tune with the divine feminine. He's working with the divine feminine. He was not going against the divine feminine. And so he was a representative of the divine feminine. And through his music and art form and things like that, bringing awareness, and all that kind of stuff to the planet. This is why I really like MJ, Michael, because of his message. And, they always stood out to me. Like, it was really weird when I was a child, I guess because, women and children have larger pineal glands. But whenever I heard his music, it would be louder and more clear than other music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it stood out. It was like a sign. You know how when you're walking around and you see a sign and it just stands out, or some numbers and it just stands out above everything else? So that's what it was like for me as a child when I heard or saw Michael Jackson music or on TV or whatever. So I would always see that. And it would stand out to me. That's probably why I can understand his lyrics and the meaning of a lot of his songs, or the songs he recorded and things like that, because it always stood out to me. And I would say more so when I was a teenager, the music of Prince definitely stood out to me as well. I think he's more for older audiences. So I had to mature to really understand what Prince was, saying in his music. And so I did, get a lot of information from both. And so, a lot of times when you are, drawn to certain artists, it's because of their message and, their energy. So now you know. And we know, of course, that, the Divine Mother and child and connection to the cosmos is what we should really be focusing on, instead of trying to outdo Mother Nature or the cosmos or the universe or the omniverse or the multiverse. Okay? Because it will go on forever. And it will just keep repeating, and like it's going to be like running a race that doesn't go anywhere. It's like a hamster wheel, literally. And that's why people are like, oh, I want to escape the matrix. I need to escape. No, you don't. Why would you want to escape the matrix? Where are you going to go? There's nowhere else to go. Like, literally, where are you going to go? That is like a baby that's premature trying to escape the mother. Where does it go? It ends up in a miscarriage. You know what I'm saying? So stop trying to escape and just let nature take its place and be part of it. It's not, the woman never tries to really rule over the man until he tried to rule over her. It was supposed to be a family or a mutual agreement with one another. Okay? Because, it's stressful to try to rule over people. I don't like whenever I have to take charge of a situation, I don't even like it because it's too much stress. I'm like, I don't want to be in charge of that. Find somebody else to do it. And, I'd rather give that job to a man so he can feel good about himself and be proud of whatever he's accomplished and done. I don't want to do it, but don't try to rule over me because you can do it as a man. I can do it too. I just don't want to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I gotta grow life and take care of kids and nourish them and teach them and all that. I ain't got time for all of that. So you go ahead and do it and shine, right? Do what you got to do as a man. But don't go try to take and emulate my job as a woman because you don't have enough power. It's not about power. It's about, enjoying this creation. You can't enjoy something if you're always competing. When you're always competing against someone, you can't even have a friendship. You can't even have a relationship. You can't even enjoy the natural things because, oh, well, I know more than you, or I'm better at that than you, or you don't know what you're talking about, or look what I can do. It's like, I get it. You're trying to impress me. I'm very impressed. Okay. Good job. Like a little kid bringing you their drawing and you don't know even what it is, but you have to act impressed. Okay, so the kid gets better at drawing and they become a great artist and a wonderful artist and a beautiful artist. What are they drawing though? Are they drawing something that's impressive to me or to them or to everyone? Draw something impressive. And I'm going to say, oh my gosh, you are like one of the best artists of all time. Because look what you drew. I give Leonardo da Vinci his props. Okay. Of course, he was taught by his mother in nature and things like that. And of course, I'm sure he learned other things later on by other people, but his mother was always his first teacher and his most profound teacher, he says, because I have lots of his books and notebooks and interpretations and things like that. So, he wanted to truly understand a woman on all levels. He was gay, yeah. And the reason, okay, I don't have the picture of the Mona Lisa up here, but the Mona Lisa, I might have it. Hold on, let's see. The Mona Lisa, literally, everybody's trying to figure her out. Of course, there's hidden symbolism in it. But the smirk on her face is literally her knowledge of self, that she is divine and above, she's nature. And that's what her face is representing, that little hidden smile. It means I know who I am. And even in this world that oppresses me, I know the truth. But, okay, that's my secret. I'm going to operate under that secret. And he did not finish that painting and give it to the person that commissioned him. He carried that painting around forever till he died. So it means, her name literally translates into God's promise. Madam, or Mona means madam, master versus madam, or Mr. versus madam. So respectful title. And then Lisa represents God's promise. That's the name meaning. So God's promise was that the divine feminine would return and women would know who they were. Okay. So that definitely has happened. And even in the Bible, if y'all are, I'm not religious, but I like to decode religious texts, or just the Bible mostly. So
in the Bible, it's, I think Jesus said, follow the man with the pail or pitcher of water or something into the next room. And that meant the age of Aquarius, because, the next room is like the next age, or, the next era. So the next age would have definitely been the age of Aquarius, right? And that is where we are headed now. So the age of Aquarius is the person pouring out water upon the earth, and that's where we're headed. Okay. So I didn't see the picture. Darn it. Anyway, I guess we don't need to see the Mona Lisa. But her smirk just allows us to understand that she knows who she is. Period. Let me see if I can resend it. But yeah, and there's also a lot of stuff in the background that I want to point out. Well, I need to find the real picture. This one won't do. If you look in the background of his artwork, I'm trying to find it. There's a lot of code and symbolism there. This is not even with using a mirror. This is just what the eye see. So the eyes can just see what's painted there, and that's symbolic enough. But if you want to go deeper, because you can see way, way more. But the mirror is literally the divine feminine. And the man wanted to mirror the divine feminine, or the earth, or look at the earth from a different perspective. So that's why there's satellites, right? And the MJ song, Man in the Mirror, whatnot. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And a woman wrote that song for him. Just so you know, he was not the writer of that song. It was literally a woman. And he, just recorded it. So he was singing for her, or the divine feminine, and conveying the message to the rest of the world. That's why, if you remember his Grammy performance, where he performed Man in the Mirror, he wore a blue shirt. And blue is symbolic of, the feminine nature, divine feminine. And then he had the choir of women and men in the back singing as well, because it's a mixture of voices, not just one male voice. So he had the frequency of the divine feminine. Oh, okay, sorry. And therefore, his message was, oh my goodness. His message was literally just being given that on stage. And Man in the Mirror is talking to the patriarchy that is responsible for world hunger, war, all those bad things that seek out power unnaturally. So if you remember his video, he definitely put a lot of that imagery in the video, Man in the Mirror. So there's a lot of images of toxic masculinity being shown through being power hungry on the planet. And, people like the song, but still a lot of that bad stuff continued because nobody, took it as seriously as they should have. So, but he tried. Okay. Let's see. I can bring it up now. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I'm kind of new to this technology stuff on this streaming platform, so I just trying to learn it. All right. I'm gonna look at the comments in a second, because I haven't gotten to look at them in a few minutes. I'm getting ready to go on there in a second. Okay. All right, here we go. Just give me a few seconds. All right. So in this picture, the Mona Lisa, you see how her head is above everything on earth and her head is in the heavens? Okay. So the trees, the rivers, the valleys, the currents, the water motion and movement, the pine trees, the forests, she's over all of it in the perspective, right? Her clothing is dark or darker. Her hair is dark. So this means she's kind of being hidden or in the dark feminine energy, right? But everything else around her is more vibrant and bright. And her right hand is holding her left hand down. Okay, so you know left and right symbolism with masculine and feminine. You know, the right represents what? Let's see, who knows? So we see that the other hand, the left hand, is gripping the chair very firmly. And there's some more symbolism going on too with her fingers and things like that, but you know, that's a whole video by itself. The throne or the chair or the, you know, where she's sitting is being gripped with her left hand. Okay. So the divine feminine has a grip on the throne, like watch the throne. Watch the Throne, you know, the Jay-Z song or album. I don't know. The throne is symbolic, you know. She's sitting on a throne. She's sitting down, but she's still high up. You see that? She can sit. Her legs are dangling, but her head is in the sky. So this is like a tree almost. You have the heavens or the leaves and the branches. You have the trunk on earth. And then you have the legs or the roots that are dangling in the underworld. So this is, you know, as above, so below, as within, so without, all of that combined. And then she has like, yeah, she does have a veil on. If you like look really close, there's a veil, but doesn't cover her eyes, nor, you know, it's kind of see-through and clear. So looks like a lace front wig, but you know, everything is symbolic. All right, I'm gonna look and see something. All right, so yes, watch the throne, the divine feminine returns, da da da. I have some other videos about the divine feminine if y'all want to watch those as well. I'm on the camera actually talking. But so here's the thing. We don't have to do anything, y'all. That's the funny, beautiful thing about it. We don't have to do anything because of this. Because we're already connected and we already have all the information that we need to, you know, to move forward and, you know, do whatever we got to do. And I like this actual painting because it's showing the same kind of things, you know, all the divine feminine symbolism, you know, the water, the woman, the earth, the planet, the womb, the moon, the cosmos. And it's all connected. And if men want to feel more involved, the best thing men can do is focus on their purpose instead of trying to emulate. We don't need two women. I mean, unless y'all want to be lesbians. You say you a lesbian, girl, me too. All right? That's Drake right there, Drake. And so my book on how to manifest with magic and dark cosmic energy. If you're a man, you can use a natural technique, but at the same time, you can use this natural technique with your woman or by yourself. But like I said, it's more powerful. Like, women aren't supposed to teach, though, according to the Bible. But since I don't care about what that thing says, unless I'm just interpreting, do what you got to do. Learn, do whatever you have to do. But don't try to outdo. Don't outshine the master, like Robert Greene said. Just do your part, play your role. It's like you're in a play or a movie and you have a role, you have lines, and you have a script. If you go off script and try to outshine the star of the show or the movie, something gonna happen to you. You're not gonna be hired anymore. They're gonna be like, oh no, don't hire that person. They're gonna try to take over and mess everything up. Let's just play our roles. Okay. And so this is where a lot of people want to rule over things. I want to be the queen, I want to be the king, I want to be the god, I want to be the goddess. Okay, you are all those things already on Earth. You just want a costume, you just want accessories, you want toys, you want weapons, now you want a battle, now you want a war, now you want to put fear and psychological fear into the other side, and now you want to take over. So friendly competition starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was no competition in the first place. There was just roles. Just like, it's like turning the Sims game into Mortal Kombat. Girl, that's the Sims. This ain't Mortal Kombat. This ain't Street Fighter. This ain't Assassin's Creed. It's literally the Sims. So go to work, do your part, wash your hands, go to the bathroom, get your house built, and shut up. All right? Yeah. So I used to play The Sims back in the day when I was, a little younger. I used to play all those games. And let me tell you a funny story. So, you know how when guys play fighting games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat and all that stuff, they know all the codes and moves, and they studied, how to move in the controller and all that kind of stuff. And, they know exactly how to do certain moves and shoot certain things. Well, I didn't know any of that stuff. I just pushed all the buttons and I won. You know what I'm saying? I just pushed them and went real fast and just did whatever. Very chaotic. And I would always win or find new moves or, and my brother was always like, how did you do that? How did you win? You don't even know how to play. I said, because I just do what I want. I just do whatever, And so that's literally how this is going. This is literally the masculine and the feminine. And the masculine has all these techniques and, rules and combinations and buttons that do this, and that, and different cheat codes and all that stuff. And all I got to do is get up there and be chaotic and I win. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can have all the skills and knowledge, but if you don't have the wisdom to be chaotic, like only a woman can, or the divine feminine can, then it's a waste of time. That's why I say I don't really worry about anything. I don't have any fears about anything, because it's always going to go in the favor of nature. period. Because if man made things, if man is part of nature and he creates something that's not part of nature and it's trying to emulate nature, then it's literally just a toy. Okay. Or a mirror that can be shattered and broken. So that's why we don't worry about that. Because the right amount of chaos can destroy all of the man-made trinkets. But at the same time, we may like some of those little toys and trinkets and jewelries and things like that. So I feel like a lot of it doesn't have to be destroyed. We can just see what we can do with it besides trying to outshine the master or the madam or the mistress or whatever y'all want to say, the goddess. Let's see what we can do with all this crap that y'all invented and make the world a better place, right? Instead of trying to spy on everybody and bleed once a month like a woman. I mean, really? Come on now. Y'all want to have a period too? And that's funny to me because most women are like taught that the menstrual cycle or their periods is a curse and a bad thing. And so they don't tap into the energy that they're able to download more information, and their intuition is increased at certain times. So they are taught to like find it as a time of suffering or discomfort or like being over emotional and moody and stuff. So they associate it with something negative when literally men are cutting themselves, going to clinics, joining all these different secret societies, trying to bleed. Trying to be reborn through the masculine and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not that serious. And you know, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, she's talking about this and that. But because it's funny to me. I mean, this channel is literally listed under comedy. And I think it's funny because it's like, okay, that is so, you're going to go through all that. But, you know, I don't know how I would act either if I was, you know, if I were them. So I can't really judge because I might want it to do the same thing if I was a man. I don't know. I might want to be a woman too. I might want to bleed too. If I don't, you know. So no, I mean, most of the normal people don't think like this. Like most of the normal guys, they don't think like this because they don't know. If they just go to work every day, you know, do their normal activities and they're not into the occult or any of those fraternal orders or secret society, they don't know this. So I'm not talking about them, and I don't blame them for, you know, what's been pushed on them by, you know, the patriarchy. But the people that do know, you know, when you come across them, they give you a different look, especially if you're a woman and you're kind of smart, you know. They get this like weird look on their face. You can definitely tell that what they're thinking. And so I don't know if any women have come in contact with some of these type of men who think that they know, you know, something about the divine feminine that the woman doesn't know because it's been kept and hidden and oppressed from, you know, knowledge from the, you know, the masses, unless they go and search for it. So a lot of men will look at you like you don't even know who you are. You don't even know your power, you know, and they'll be nice and cordial and nice, but you can literally, you know, as a woman with intuition, I can literally feel and hear those thoughts, or I can get the vibration from them, and it's not good, even if they're smiling, you know. And I'm like, dang, you know, I don't even want to sound like a Dusty and ask them who hurt them, but dang, it's not that serious. So, you know, I don't hold it against anyone who doesn't know because they don't have the knowledge. So they're just following their leaders, you know. But those who do know, you know, it's funny because they try to put it right in your face, but when you keep catching it, they don't know what to do. When you keep turning the mirror back on them, they don't know what to do anymore because now they're getting lost and going further and further out, lost in space. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing I can say is, like, when you come across a woman who knows all this stuff, or at least some of it, and intuition can do the rest, she's definitely connected to the cosmos. Don't try to exploit her. Don't try to rub stuff in her face, because she knows. And she's going to show you that she knows. And it's not going to be like you thought it was going to be. It's going to be like, dang. It's not bad, but now you're going to wonder if all other women know this. And it's going to bother you. So, men, since the Bible says that women can't teach, and that a lot of the information in some of these, occult or hidden, texts and codes and symbols and stuff like that, and secret societies, since y'all aren't teaching the divine feminine about herself, then she has to learn on her own, and they have to teach each other. And once all the women learn and teach each other, it's a wrap. Like Mariah Carey said, it's a wrap for you, boy. Period. And that's on period. I know they hate that word. Period. A lot of the slang that's coming back is also very feminine. Think about that. And that's on period. So I guess men, like, y'all don't have to be mad about it because y'all didn't know about it unless you did. But those who didn't know about it, now it's like, now you get to learn with us and correct the toxic ways that went against nature. You don't have to do it overnight. Just work on it. It's not your fault. Unless it was. Unless you knew. So I don't hold any animosity towards people that don't know anything. It's like, they don't have a choice. They didn't know what to do. So do y'all have any questions that pertain to what we're talking about? Let me switch this picture up. I know y'all tired of looking at that. Do y'all have any questions? I'm gonna put this one up. Let me see. You said a man said point blank period, and I turned and said, wow. That was gay. He got mad. Y'all are silly. You said, how do you defeat a trickster, unbound spirit? Which kind of trickster? Because there is no trickster above the divine feminine. The trickster literally is just someone to reveal things to you in a way where you have to look deeper. You know what I mean? So you don't really need to defeat a trickster. What you need to do is see what they're trying to tell you. Why are they playing the trick? You know what I'm saying? What is the trick meant to do? Because tricks are not with no purpose. Okay. Like the Alice in Wonderland movie, how the rabbit was running away and she was chasing it. Well, the rabbit is symbol also of a trickster spirit, and it was taking her deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, right? So you have to understand, like, she learned a lot of stuff down the rabbit hole, and when she came back, she, took charge of her life. So therefore, a trickster spirit can literally have information for you if you don't look at it as an enemy. Remember, you're a goddess, not a human or a woman. So you're not afraid of anything that is part of nature because you created it. The divine cosmos is the creator of all of this, So if you're afraid, fear is not natural. If you created, all of this, if you're the divine feminine, then you should just see it as something that your intuition should definitely be able to pick up on and see as knowledge and information and wisdom. Okay. So no, you can't defeat a trickster spirit. You need to learn what they're trying to teach you. So basically, the divine feminine won't be complete, but won't be. Hold on. Did I put the wrong question up there? Okay, yeah. Basically, the divine feminine won't be completely restored on earth until men learn to respect and honor women. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it. But along the way, they will learn because they won't have a choice. Because we're like, as we get closer to Age of Aquarius, and that more of that divine energy, from the feminine comes through, it's going to naturally just be learned, absorbed in the culture, in everything, in the foods, in the children, in everything. It's going to be like it's a flood. Like Beyonce say, I'm about to flood on them, flood on a sinner. In her song, what was that song? Oh, Mood Forever. Mood Forever. Yeah. So she's talking about the Age of Aquarius and the return of the divine feminine and the flood and the waters coming down, and she about to flood on them. That's why, she's on tour right now with the Renaissance, which was the golden era or the rebirth. So it's like there's nothing that can be done. It's just going to naturally change. Naturally, like nature has intended. Okay. Do you know if menstrual blood has magical Yeah, it has stem cells. Girls, labs and scientists are buying people's menstrual blood because of the stem cells that they have. It has healing properties. It has a lot of stuff. Like men try to emulate it by drinking their pee, which is nasty, or their own blood. In alchemy. But and it said, if you put that into a man's food, then you rule over them, or they got to do what you say and stuff. Or they'll be, drawn to you naturally or addicted to you because they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the goddess. And so now God can't do nothing with them no more because the divine feminine took over. Sprinkle. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate you. So that whole thing about eating from the tree, the apple, or the fruit, is literally, going down now, doing it, So think about this. You got a woman who starts her period, right? She don't know what that is. In the primitive time, she reaches down. This is kind of nasty, so y'all are, she reaches down. Oh, I'm bleeding, but I don't feel like I'm dying. And, if you're primitive, what are you going to do? You're going to sniff it and taste it, right? And then you're going to put it in your man's face. Here, taste this. You know how women do? They get some food, and they start eating it. And they said, I don't know. What you think? And then they just put the fork up to the man's mouth and say, here, taste this, eat it. He's like, I don't want none. Eat it. Tell me, because I need to know if it's good or bad, or if you like it. Come on, it's good. You got to try it. You know, what is this? And so maybe that's what happened. That's the fruit, the forbidden fruit of the tree. The tree always represented a goddess or a woman. The knowledge of good and evil, which represented the masculine and the feminine, or the heavens and the underworld, you know, because the tree has roots. Da-da-da. So the stem cells in the menstrual blood are connected to the cosmos, because they have stem cells that also bring in spirit and soul. And then it has roots in the underworld, because when the uterus sheds her lining, then she drops and goes to the underworld. So knowledge of good and evil. Oh, Vicky, sparkle, sparkle. Thank you. Okay. Some men will even tell you that they want you to put it in their food so that they won't stray, or, always feel a certain way about you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what them scientists want all that menstrual blood for. I don't know what they finna do, girl. A lot of the scientists are women today. If you watch the Weather Channel, they have some specials and shows about technology that's coming out to help improve the planet. And most of the leaders of those projects and scientists are women. So you never know what it could be for. I'm laughing because I'm thinking what I would do if I'm a mad scientist. Got my little villain science coat on, and I'm ushering in the divine feminine. You have scientists and labs buying menstrual blood for women. What are we gonna do with this? You never know. I know, I have a good idea. Let's put it in something. Thank you, FM Sprinkle Sprinkle. You said you heard plants benefit from menstrual blood. Cool, yeah. So in the old days, women were sent away when they were on their period, and they were to bleed on mats or in the desert in the sand. And so when they were done, they would go back to wherever they was, their village was, or their whatever. But there was always a place where they would go together as a group of women to menstruate, and they would have dreams and come back with like prophecy and all this kind of stuff, and usually it would come true. And so they would, bleed into the sand or to the mats, and then the mats would go and sink into the sand in the deserts, Sprinkle, sprinkle. Uh-oh, Raquel. Thank you, girl. And so in a lot of the Bible stuff, they always talk about how, they cast demons out into the desert, or, when Moses and his people was wandering through the desert for 40 years or whatever, God fed them manna or whatever, provided manna that fell from the heavens. Okay, they in the desert. Okay, the Bible is code. They might have been starving. They come across some, women menstruating in the desert. A lot of something might grow from that particular area where they bled. That might have been manna, or we don't know. But it sounds a little suspicious to me. Okay. And then the whole part, Moses parting the Red Sea. We don't know. With his staff, spirit with. What he doing over there? Are those people really his sperm? Because in the Bible it says, my people, the infants will rule over you. So my people could represent the sperm and the potential, people that could be birthed from a male, the man's sperm. Thank you. Thank you for the donation, Hamden. And so the whole story of Moses could just be him having sex with somebody on her period. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. It's to be interpreted however you choose. I think it's kind of funny though, because can you imagine like the religious people who take that as a literal story and they keep telling it and celebrating it, and then it's literally just somebody doing something on their period with with a man. And so I, knowing this kind of stuff, it makes me laugh when people start, talking about it and taking it too seriously and celebrating stuff that's literally just some old school porn with, some magic involved. Wizard porn is what I'm calling it. So anyway, in Isaiah 3:12, it says, my people, which I'm thinking, since this is a masculine perspective, my sperm, infants are their oppressors, which means if you have sex with a woman who's pregnant, your stuff ain't going up. Like Cardi B says, it ain't gonna be up. And women rule over them. So women rule over the baby. So if you sleeping with a pregnant woman and you don't know, then now you're being ruled over by the baby and the woman, period. And then it says, your guides mislead you and they have swallowed up the course of your path. So basically now, now you're ruled over by the woman and the child. The Mac, Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Y'all remember that T-Mobile commercial, Return of the Mother and Child? Return of the Mac? Yes. So they tell you because they have to. They got to tell you what's going on, but they can say it in code. So the wizard, what? It literally is. It's like a lot of that stuff that y'all are reading is literally just, code, and a lot of it is sexual and magic and stuff. Uh-oh. Thank you, Diana. Sparkle. Sprinkle. And witches and wizards and practitioners of magic that work with the moon cycle, they're literally just working with the divine feminine and the cycles and going by the moon versus the sun. The calendar used to be lunar. They changed it to solar. But we had 13 months because women have 13 periods usually. And so women told time through the moon and through their periods. Men didn't like it. So they turned the time into the sun, because why would a man have to be on period time? Or lunar time. And so they just made the woman follow along because, they said the man rule over the woman. So you're going to do what we say. But women who practice magic still work with the phases of the moon and their menstrual cycles and all that kind of stuff, which is why a lot of men who practice magic started doing the same thing so that they wouldn't be left out, or, the women wouldn't get more knowledge, or they would, suppress this knowledge from certain women and use it for their own favor. This is why in a lot of religions, they tell women that they have to do what their husband says. They have to sleep with them when they want to. And they put all these rules on top of marriage and women, because if the husband knows better, he can use her in the capacity to get what he wants, and connect with the cosmos at the correct times if he's following some type of rituals or, time. And so let's say if a man is like, he's into all this occult knowledge and he wants to sleep with his wife at a certain time so he can manifest something, and she says no, then he's going to pull out whatever holy book he has that's, been changed to value the man more, and says, oh, look, in this book it says you got to do what I say and sleep with me whenever I want. And so they're going to use that to enforce a lot of stuff with women. And so when women start to resist, or when they start to resist, a lot of stuff escalated, and issues arise. So and in a lot of religious book, it tells you like a woman is unclean when she's on her period, right? And you can't cook, you can't do nothing. You got to be out of the kitchen. You got to go sit down. You can't even be around men in certain religions. You got to go do something. That's because your influence is stronger. Your intuition is higher, so you can know when they're doing wrong. You can sense wrong, baby. Something ain't right here. I sense something, They're afraid you're going to put it in their food, girl. They're going to be all ruled over by you. So you know what to do. Yeah, I know what to do. I ain't got to explain it. He said, this is so sad. I bet you ain't gonna ask y'all to cook no more. Anyway. Okay, so do y'all remember when Beyonce and Jay-Z won some type of award and they weren't able to accept it, but they were on camera and they were standing in front of a portrait of Meghan Markle that was looking like the Mona Lisa, or it was in the museum like the Mona Lisa, and they had her in the background, and when they accepted their award, and they were kind of friends and stuff. And so when Meghan Markle was going through all that stuff, and people were harassing her and mad at how she got, Prince Harry, whatever. And they had a crown on top of her in the painting, right? So basically they were trying to tell her what was happening. It was like a message. It's like, okay, you got a crown on your head, ma'am, and you're painted like the Mona Lisa. Okay, this means you know who you are. You know that you know what you have to do to go get that man. But there's a crown on your head. So women don't literally seek power. They either inherit it, or they try, they inherit it, right? They don't really seek out power because we are the divine feminine goddess. We don't need to seek it out. So when someone puts a crown on your head, like they did Jesus, and they put the crown of thorns on his head, it literally means that someone is ruling over you. Okay? And so that's when she woke up. She was like, you know what? I know who I am. I'm the divine feminine, but now there's a crown on my head. And so I got to get up out of here. That's why they came to America. Because, living in that castle and following all those rules and all that kind of stuff, and was literally them controlling her and their relationship and all this kind of stuff. So that's why they left, because, the freedom is much more valuable. All right. Also, if y'all remember Kanye West's album or Ye's album, where it showed him with a crown on his head, but he was decapitated and his head was cut off. That's also representing like, okay, I don't want to be ruled over. I am a god. I am a goddess. So to have a crown means that you have someone above you. Literally, that's why when people say, oh, you're a queen, you're a queen, I kind of laugh it off, because I don't know if they know or not that it's kind of an insult because I'm a goddess. So in the hierarchy of things, it says the king, the pharaoh, the queen is given that honor and power through the divine or through a god or a goddess, right? So I don't need no crown. I am the goddess. If I'm the queen of heaven, or if there is a queen in heaven, then there's a goddess above that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all divine feminine energy. So therefore, if you like to take the title of queen, at least take it outside of the earth. You know what I'm saying? That way it's still divine, because it's more divine than a human queen or king. Okay? But literally it's the same thing as just a goddess. They just elevated themselves and ascended from queen into goddess. And they might still have that crown on. But when you realize that you're divine and you're goddess and you're connected to everything, you can take it off. A lot of people say, oh, that's the shedding of the ego or whatnot. And, ascending to your divinity. I like crowns too as decoration, and they're very pretty. But the crown or the corona was literally the natural glow that would surround you, like your aura in the heavens, like any celestial body. And I guess to represent it on earth, they just put something shiny on your head, okay, that caught light. So that's what it is. Goddess culture, yes, it's like goddess core. It's an aesthetic now, in online aesthetic, when people like post hashtags, they're really getting into learning about those type of things, which is good. Heaven spelled backwards. The name literally means like, goddess or heaven on earth, the divine feminine returning. Women waking up, knowing who they are. We're no longer Eve, we're goddesses now. Because if you think about it, in the story of Adam and Eve, as soon as she had a baby, she started getting arrogant. Like, I don't remember the verse, but when she had a baby, she said, "Look, Adam, I made a man." Something like that. And that means, look, I can do something you can't. So I don't think I'm less than you now. So that was her reclaiming her divinity right there when she bragged about giving birth. So Eve didn't really last too long as a submissive woman. Once she was connected and had like once she was connected and had like the connection to the cosmos, gave birth, ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, she was then considered divine and a goddess. According to what the Bible said, she knew what God knew, and now she was connected. So she no longer was even a woman, she was a goddess. And so leaving the garden could also be like symbolic of, okay, well, we can't rule over you in this world anymore because you know too much. So go do your own thing. Go start your own world. Okay, go do your own thing. Because you know so much. You can create a man, and you know about the good and the evil now. We can't pull the okie doke on you no more. So get up out of here. So, darn it. Lost another one. Like the church get mad when y'all start leaving. They be sending y'all some notes and, we missed you. Hope you can make the service next Sunday. They miss your tithes and offerings, okay? So it's kind of like leaving the church, and they get mad because you woke up. So you'll find that now in some churches, they start to try to teach you about this type of stuff and try to interpret the Bible. And then they have to call it New Age or something like that. But at the same time, they should have been doing this the whole time anyway. pastor asked about you. I bet he did. So, and the funny thing is, like, when you know too much and you start talking to them, they just shut down, they stop, and then they say, okay, well, we'll always be here for you. They don't even try to convince you anymore, because once they know, because they know, they can't really fool you anymore. And they just give you this look like you win. Don't say no more. Shh, don't tell nobody. Just go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, a lot of the religions depend on ignorance. And once this divine feminine energy returns in a major way, all religion is going to be gone. And it's going to return back to a more nature-based spirituality. Even Leonardo da Vinci painted it in one of his paintings called Adoration of the Magi. I don't have it here, but you could go look it up. Adoration of the Magi. And it literally is a painting of like a little courtyard with people near a fountain, and there's like a church, but he kind of painted and drew under it like a pagan temple, as if like it was the future. And once the church, fades away, nature-based spirituality would definitely be returning. So, he painted like multiple dimensions, past, present, and future in his paintings. He layered it with special chemicals and different types of paints so that it can be looked at later on in separate sections from different perspectives. So therefore, he was leaving information saying that religion was not going to be forever. And every time they commissioned him or other artists during that time to paint religious, things, they always hid things in there to tell the truth versus, just to paint whatever they were told to paint. So you can always find little, hidden things in there. You said Lilith was Adam's first wife and she was replaced by Eve. I think someone correct me. Yeah, they say Lilith was with Adam first, but she did not want to submit to him, and through sex, which means, remember what I was telling you earlier? I don't know if you were here earlier, to let him use her as a conduit to manifest his, manifestation out into the cosmos, because the divine feminine is definitely connected to the cosmos directly because of her cycle, her enlarged pineal gland, and her ability to bring life to the planet and to give birth. Okay, so the man uses her to push things into the heavens. Okay, like manifestation is more powerful. This is why some religions allow men to have several wives. Okay, so same as like a rocket ship going through the ionosphere of the planet and getting into the heavens, setting up satellites to then bring you signals and information. Okay, but not in a natural way. So men have to use a woman as a natural conduit, and it's very powerful. And so that's what that's all about. Lilith said, no, you ain't gonna use me for that. I'm out of here. You ain't gonna connect through me. You go find a sheep. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And y'all want to hear something kind of gross? Well, I don't know if this is what it meant. I did not save the scripture, but it said something like, through the womb or the matrix, man may, basically it said you can manifest through the womb and the matrix, through all things, animals and women or whatever. So you have, people in there sleeping with sheeps, trying to manifest through a sheep womb because, you can't get no woman. Because, you had to marry people back then. If you ain't had no money, you ain't getting married. You know what I'm saying? So they wanted to manifest, so they just went and got a sheep. Okay, that's kind of nasty, but y'all know what they was doing back at the J. And so Lilith, she said, "You ain't gonna use me. Bye." And she left. And so the story of Cain and Abel reminds me of this, because it's code too. I mean, it can be decoded in so many ways. That's the beauty. So they said, so Abel was sacrificing his best sheep to the Lord and was rewarded with abundance, right? Or ram or whatever he was sacrificing. Sacrifice don't mean kill. You kill it in another way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm killing it. Bestiality, exactly. I'm killing it. And then Cain, he said he sacrificed his best vegetable. I don't even know what that is. You're a vegetable. They feed off of you. You're a vegetable. Ow! You want to be starting something? So maybe it was a woman. Maybe the vegetable was a woman, like a fruit. His crops, his fruits, his vegetables. You said a squash, something, a fruit, a vegetable, a root. Yeah, like a root vegetable. Yes, thank you. Yeah. That's chakra. And so that wasn't enough. He had to go through the matrix of the sheep. Bah. So a lot of those stories in there is like vulgar, but y'all don't know, and y'all be teaching y'all kids. The burnt offering to the Lord. Okay, the symbol of masculinity is fire. All right, so you sent a burnt offering to the Lord. You sent a burnt sheep through. So what you do? Burnt that sheep up from within. You push your masculine fire through it and through its pineal gland and matrix. You nasty. Y'all, this is my interpretation, okay? So then it says Cain killed Abel out of jealousy. He was, sending burnt offerings of sheep or whatever to the Lord. So he was, getting it on with them animals. So he was mad because he was receiving more favor. And it wasn't working good through, whatever his root chakra. Maybe he was just doing it alone. You know what I'm saying? Milling it out, spilling his feelings through the air. If y'all know certain music, y'all know where that lyric is from. Milling it out, spilling his feelings into the air. So, it wasn't going nowhere. So, I'm trying to get to it without. So then he murdered his brother and then was sent away or cursed or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, ooh, you know it. Monster. There you go. Girl, how you know? How you know? Y'all know. So I was listening to that song the other day, and Jay-Z's verse is very interesting in that song Monster with Nicki Minaj, Kanye West, and Rick Ross. Because a lot of people thought he said something that he didn't. It's a play on words that he used, and he said, well, the whole song is about literally this whole thing. Okay. If y'all watch the video, y'all get it. But his verse, it says, gossip, gossip. Hold on. The verse that I'm looking for is this right here. Murder, murder in black convertibles. I kill a block. I murder avenues. I rape and pillage a village, women and children. Everybody want to know what my Achilles heel is. Love. I don't get enough of it. All I get is these vampires and bloodsuckers. All I see is these ninjas I made millionaires milling about, spilling their feelings in the air. All I see is these fake F words with no fangs, trying to draw blood out my ice cold veins. I smell a massacre seems to be the only way to back you bastards up. So basically, he went off. So when it says rape and pillage a village, women and children. So when he says rape and pillage a village, women and children. So this is saying that he's tried to he's not saying he did. He's just saying that's what other people are doing, because it doesn't say I, it just says rape. It doesn't say I. So he left the I off. You get it? So it's saying all these people are out here doing all these crazy stuff, trying to get to where he is, trying to get favor. And all like his favor or favor from the fans or the success. But he says, all I need is, love. I don't get enough of it. Like, you're not honoring that part. You're not honoring this. You're not honoring this. So therefore you're doing this in vain. And so the massacre is literally getting rid of all these people that are just trying to use magic in a way for greed and power versus trying to create change in the world, So sprinkle, sprinkle. Then of course you have Nikki at the end, and she's like a dual personality, good and evil, tree of knowledge of good and evil. She's the dark divine, and then the light. So she's both, and she's like, one is in a dominatrix outfit over the other one, but they're both rapping and doing their thing. And honestly, I think her verse was the best one in the song, and she didn't even have an album out. Like, literally, she just came in there and was that all of that. So her being in that album, on that song, was interesting because they included the divine feminine. But if you notice, she was in a basement. Okay, so she was in a basement, oppressed, below, arguing with herself like this baby. Okay, like this, because the men put her there. All right. And starts off with Kanye in bed or somewhere, with these dead or looking corpses or zombie women that he's like used to push out his intuitions to his like, y'all be mad at Kanye, but y'all don't know what he be doing. That's why I say y'all got to look deeper, because y'all say, well, why doesn't he get this type of woman? Because that's not what he want him for, man. Why doesn't he date this type of woman? Because he's using those women for certain things. You know what I'm saying? I know it ain't right for any woman to be used, but Kanye. So he had these models just hanging, blood dripping out their mouth, laying in the bed like dead corpses, zombies mostly, because he's used all their pineal glands up, manifesting what he's trying to do. And it's literally like, I don't even know if they let that video play anymore, Some people banned it, but so then the part with Rick Ross. So yeah, Kanye's in bed or like walking around his little mansion and using, these women for manifestation, just killing them. And Rick Ross is at a table with like body parts swinging. So he's eating them. Y'all know what that means. So Rick Ross, like Ross Snake, like the Kundalini energy rising, the devouring of the snake. Okay. And then we have, so he's in a dining room eating. Kanye is in the bedroom or in the hallway in the door, sleeping with these women, manifesting through their pineal gland. And then Jay-Z's in the library. So he's got the knowledge. So he's reading and stuff, he's gathering knowledge and stuff. And then Nikki's in the basement. So they're telling you what, they're telling you stuff, and they're showing you the oppressed divine feminine. And then that's why you got to watch her career blossom. And now she's like the best female rapper or whatever. So she took herself out of that position by realizing her divinity and took it all the way to where she is now. And, they tried to blackball her a little bit for a while in Hollywood or in the music industry because of something she said. But, if you're divine, you're divine. Nothing can stop you. Period. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And so that's what they're showing. And then on the video with Rihanna, Kanye and Jay-Z run this town. That was the same thing. It was a ritual. And they brought the divine feminine. They're all billionaires now, but they told you that they were going to be. So that was their plan. They said, in the lyrics that they have a table full of broads, and the other side got a table full of fellas or something like that. So they're manifesting through men, but they got the divine feminine on their side. That's why they all became super successful, and also all of them are billionaires. And of course, Rihanna got the most. She's worth the most, and she's the divine feminine. So that's why they got her on Super Bowl. And when she did that song, Run This Town, there were no male voices. It was just her and them little sperms dancing around her while she was uplifted high, the divine feminine. Yeah. So, that is major that they showed that in the Super Bowl. And a lot of people were upset about it. But, oh well. And she provided to most of the other women with her makeup line, specifically to melanated goddesses. Yeah. You have to make change in the world to make women feel good about themselves and to uplift them. And that's what she did. So, she supplied makeup to women who weren't being able to find their shade. And most of the cosmetic companies did not produce colors and shades dark enough for all women. So she saw the issue and she solved the problem. Lifting a lot of people's confidence as well. So, yeah. And I know a lot of y'all get on Nikki and Rihanna about, dating someone that's not worth as much as they are. But y'all have to remember who the goddess is. It's the Family Feud video with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and the future, glimpses of the goddess ruling and the divine feminine ruling. She wouldn't let a man rule over her. Not the one like, I don't know who was playing the part. Was it Tandy Newton? She was sleeping with this guy, and then her brother walks in and says, "Oh, still see you're being, promiscuous." And she shot both of them because they were all trying to take her place again. You know, it was all trying to rule over her, whatever. So she said, "Ain't nobody getting ready to rule over me. This is mine." You know, so you have to understand that the divine goddess on earth can't have a man ruling over her. Either you're equals, or you got to let the goddess rule at this time. So that is because that they have lots of money, or they're at the top of their field. Okay. So if they want to stay at the top, they have to stay at the top, literally. They can't submit to anybody. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. So it doesn't really go, it's not the same thing as like, okay, you need a man to provide for you. You know, you need to find somebody with the money. Okay, that's fine for us women who aren't billionaires at the top of their industry. You know what I'm saying? But think about this. How did they get there? How did they get to the top? Y'all know how Rihanna got to the top? She got with a man with some money, took it, built her Fenty line, made money off that. Like I tell y'all on the other channel, get his money, invest in your business, increase your value, and then you can do what you want. If you want to stay with him, great. If not, you got your own money, you know? So Rihanna did that. She had a billionaire. She got his money, broke up with him, went and started Fenty, you know, and that was a wrap. So all right. So are there any guys in here? I'm curious to know what y'all think about all this. I mean, I don't know if y'all are upset, mad, you feel like, you know, you've been lied to, bamboozled, or did you already know, or did you care? Oh, pork rinds. What do these images have to do with leveling up, my friend? Nothing. This is my Ashura Star Goddess channel, so I don't have nothing to do with it. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You on the wrong channel, pork rinds. Maybe I do need to change this image. Yeah, there you go. You like that better? Did y'all know that when a man sees a beautiful woman, that it literally releases endorphins, and like it's like a drug to him? So we also have that power to make a man feel like he's drugged. So when a man looks at a beautiful woman, or a woman that he's attracted to, it's like he's on drugs. And so that's why I tell y'all ladies to look good for men, because they'll do more for you if they feel high and on drugs. If you're looking ugly, they don't feel nothing. Okay? So pork rinds is happy now because he get to look at some boobies, but they're just painting. They're not real. You said drunk in love. Yep. Weepy all night. And that's what she's saying in, where did she go? Dubai. And they lifted her up in the water. And she said, oh, oh. I don't know. Do you think they know what she was doing? Anyway. You said, why do we get overly attached to people? Like in a spiritual sense? You mean like when you sleep with them? Because when a woman sleeps with a man, there's a chemical released that makes her bond with him. And that's why it's a chemical, and like you feel it spiritually bonded. But men are more visual. So if you want to do the same thing, you have to look good. You know what I'm saying? Oxytocin release, yes. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Let me see something. So that was the only questions you had. Any other guys in here? So I don't know. It's a lot of women mostly, I guess. Sorry. All right. So I was just curious. Well, that's good. I do feel like it shouldn't be something that people that are upset about. It should just be embraced because it's natural. The natural order. Okay. Shouldn't be like I'm better than you. And only turns to that when y'all try to be better than us or try to, say that we're less than. Because women didn't care until y'all started trying to rule or try to claim power or whatever. We just was doing what we had to do. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said like the Little Mermaid with the siren call? Yeah. Yeah, the Little Mermaid is also like this return of the divine feminine being ruled over by the masculine. She had to go to see the sea witch to get her some legs so she could get up. So she had to go through the divine feminine first because her daddy, the divine masculine, wanted to rule over her. So she had to go to the other side, to Ursula, the primordial, because she was like a squid or an octopus. So she was like the primordial energies of the dark feminine. She had to tap inside to her dark feminine side in order to disobey her father, which is very much like what's happening now. Women are turning away from the patriarchy and more to the feminine. But like there is an extreme. Like Ursula was very extreme. Her dad was very extreme. So in order to find the middle ground, she had to go to Earth and find her a man and get married. And now they were, the balance, literally. You see, her daddy was trying to block her level up. Yes. Then he felt sorry for her at the end because she was not happy and thriving anymore. And all she was doing is thinking about what she really wanted. And so he just go ahead and say, all right, fine, bye. Go ahead and go. Sprinkle, sprinkle. But it was still a patriarchal ending that but it was written long ago. It's an old fairy tale, so they really stuck to that storyline. But I think in reality, there can be a balance once people realize that being ruled over is not fun for anybody. Because when Ursula, killed the king or Triton, he didn't like that too much when she was ruling over him. So he got a taste of how it felt. And so that could also have helped him make his decision. Right. Because she went and brought her daddy back to life because she could have let him stay dead. You know what I'm saying? But she went to go help him, not just leave him in the dust. Okay. All right. You said you want a man to worship you like Cleopatra if ever have a boyfriend or husband. Okay. Well, those men would. Well, that story. The man was literally using her, and that's why the story is literally. It's an interesting story. She was seducing them, but they were also using her. That's why they got to take over Egypt, and she killed herself. Eventually, you know what I'm saying? So she thought she was doing the most. She did, she did a little bit, but they were literally just using her, and she had no idea. She thought she was doing something. But if she was sleeping with them, and these are men who are studied in philosophy, psychology, trying to take over lands. She fell right into their trap, you know. And there were several Cleopatras, but the last one, you know, she was most remembered because she was the last one, and she killed herself or something. And after that, you know, Egypt was taken over. So they try to make it look like, you know, she did her thing, but she did a little bit, but it wasn't what she could have been doing. She could have said, nope, turn around, bye bye. All right. Okay. Yeah, I saw that movie, The Little Mermaid. It was really good. She sang really good. It was a cute movie. What do you do if a man is using you to manifest? What do you do? Duh. You black it, baby. Does this answer your question, man? Okay, so I don't know if you're just tuning in, but that hat, you see how it curls over? Like, they're not shooting a shot into the universe. They shooting it right back into her mind, and she's gonna do whatever she need to do with that knowledge, or she gonna know what he's trying to manifest, but it ain't getting out to the cosmos. Literally, you don't have to wear this hat. You can wear it imaginatively, energetically, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Sometimes a wig will do with curls and a wig cap. I bought it, something. You ever notice the only time some women can take off their head wraps or their head coverings is when they sleeping with a man? That some women be putting their bonnets on or doing it with wigs and stuff. Get you a good old nice wig. All right. And, you know, guys will use magic against you too if they know. So you got to be super smart. And sometimes it comes naturally, like through instinct, because you're connected to the divine, and so your instinct is more powerful. And so whatever decisions you're making, your wardrobe choice, your clothes choice, sometimes it can be, you know, you don't even realize what you're doing until it's done, and then you say, "Oh, okay." So he was trying to do this, but I wore this, and so nothing even happened. Ha ha ha. You know. Um, or they did this, and so you can kind of figure it out and laugh later at your own intuition and your own inner guidance, because even though they try, they can't really do nothing if you're tuned in. You know what I'm saying? You're tuned in, they can't do nothing. They can try. They're just gonna be wasting time. All right. um They also don't like women who have a bunch of plastic surgery or fillers and stuff, because a lot of that stuff has different stuff in it that blocks things. Also, who knows, what they feel about it, and also the names of certain things may trigger them. Like, for example, I'm going to tell y'all, like, let's say you have silicone, seal a cone, or seal a con. You know what I'm saying? So, they're not going to get out. They're just going to be sealed within the artificial substance or whatnot. Hee hee. That's why I don't like women who be wearing makeup, wigs, got fake stuff. I want you natural. I want your hair. Nope, you're going to get everything. Wigs, nails, jewelry, wig caps. Some people be doing bonnets. But still, see, the bonnet is still kind of round, which is why I don't suggest it. If you're going to do something, you better layer up, ma'am, with some colors or something. Get you a red bonnet. Red lips, red nails, whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. Foundation. I mean, the names of makeup are very protective. So if they're using you sexually and you got on foundation on your face and on your forehead and on your hair and on your wig cap, on your wig lace, what's a foundation, ma'am? It's at the bottom, not the top. Okay? It's not up like Cardi B said. Do y'all remember that video up where she had all them wigs? All that hair, all them wigs? It was a mess. So yeah, foundation, not the heavens, not the cosmos, but the foundation, which is on the bottom. Started from the bottom, now you here. You still at the bottom. And then the funny thing is, like, if you got Rihanna's Fenty foundation, that's her last name, which is her father's last name. So literally her father's name. So it's very masculine. And so she's wearing Fenty foundation on her face. So you're just getting the father's butt, the father's foundation. All right. Like, if you're into the occult, if you're into knowledge and, symbolism and magic and manifesting and stuff, makeup is your friend, especially the certain types of brand. That's why I don't sell foundation, but I have a contour. I have some contour on Level Up Cosmetics. It'll take you on a tour, but not the way you thought you was going. A brown tour. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said Azazel thought up makeup. Yeah, see, the fallen angels, or the fallen messengers, or the messengers that came down from the heavens that were poured down, brought women the art of makeup and taught them herbs, the secrets of seduction, and how to use makeup to lure in men. And so, what happens to those men who can't get out of, their place when they're trying to get out? They can't get out their manifestation. So what happens to those manifestations? We transmute them into what we want, into our power, And so that's literally happened. So they turned women bad in the Bible so that people would be against them, so that they couldn't rule or naturally be the women that they were supposed to be. So they had to call in some backup because, the divine feminine will always find a way. Okay. You said eyelashes? Girl, lashes. Eyelash. You ever got a lashing? Mascara. Massacre. A mask. A covering. Sprinkle. So put on all that makeup and stuff. Don't, and the man tell you, oh, you look good natural. That's not a compliment, ma'am. Especially if they're into this type of stuff. I know I look good natural, but I look better with my protection on. Hey. They call it cosmetics and makeup. Think about that word, cosmetics, the cosmos, cosmetic. It's like it's being fooled into thinking that this is the cosmos because of all the pretty colors and sparkles, and how when you look into outer space, you see the beautiful nebula and all the purple and pink colors and the stars and the moon. So it's all shimmering and pretty, and sometimes the moon is red or the sun is red. So like it literally fools the spirits or the manifestation or whatever they're doing into thinking that it's the cosmos, or they're in the cosmos already, so they don't leave. Get you some level up cosmetics. You thought you was there, but you here. And so even if you don't want to wear makeup to bed, you could use like a light powder or a lip gloss or something, a cosmetic. Sometimes they have like moisturizers with like tinted moisturizers or something like that. Yeah. Sunblock. See, you have like all this stuff in your favor. So I think we should use it. And we're making money off of it, So like I said, there are different ways that men will try to, like since women are onto it now, everybody wearing makeup, American women aren't the same. That's why they got to go overseas and get them a passport and whatnot, because, we're too equipped with all this makeup and wigs and knowledge. Even if we don't have knowledge, we still got the other stuff, protection. But, some men with money that still want to get out, they use rockets to emulate the phallus or the phallic symbol piercing the ionosphere, or the eye on the sphere, the eye on the earth, the eye, and to get into the cosmos. But at the same time, they have these satellites looking at them, like I said earlier, as above, so below, as within, so without. So they're trying to like use these rockets going out as a spell to get more men to be able to go out, with women through their pineal gland, So keep your makeup on, ladies. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And remember, if they're manifesting something while they're like, sleeping with you or whatnot, just manifest against it. It's like whatever they're trying to manifest, if it ain't for me, if it ain't no money for me, then block it. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So whatever you say goes, ma'am. You just have to be conscious of it. So before you sleep with any man, just say you blocked unless you trying to bring me some money and whatever, some gifts and money for me. You block. If you trying to do anything else that's not for me or this family or these children, or if y'all are a family, if it's just some random dude, block him anyway, unless he's trying to bring you some money. Okay. But if you're a couple and y'all are trying to manifest something together, some couples do that together and then the manifestation is stronger. But do you really know what he's manifesting? Do you trust them enough? So that's literally up to y'all. Because there was a verse that, listen to this, y'all. This is terrible. This is why I do what I do. Listen to this verse. Hold on, let's find it. It's in my phone. Maybe it's up here. No, that's not it. Is it here? Let me find it. Okay. It says, to the woman, he said, I shall surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth or birth children. Your desire, was your manifestation, shall be contrary to your husband. He shall rule over you. So basically, if you're not manifesting the same thing as your husband, then whatever he's manifesting rules over you. You know what I'm saying? So right there, you can see that what they're trying to do in the Bible. This is why I don't follow patriarchal religion. Okay. So basically, how do you get around this is you have to be armed, equipped, put your makeup on, your wigs, your hair, whatever you got to do. And also, whatever you're manifesting, if it's against what your husband is manifesting, because back then women were against their husbands, right? Because their husbands try to rule over them, unless they weren't. But if the husband is, ruling over the woman, being, dominant over her and trying to manifest through her, the woman's pineal gland is larger than his. So, if your desire shall be contrary, that means if you don't have the orgasm, I'll just say, with your husband, then his is going to shoot up and yours ain't. You know what I'm saying? So block it. If he don't make you do what you got to do, then block. Okay. So if they can't satisfy you, and then you fake it, you fake your death. That's like orgasm was known as the petite death, the little death. You fake your death, and then they go ahead and shoot up. You still have the power because you're blocking it. You didn't go out first. You're concentrating on blocking it, and they try to shoot up. You got wigs, wig caps, foundation. They ain't going nowhere. Cosmetics on your face. They gonna get all that energy gonna get confused and be recycled right back up into your mind, and you're gonna know exactly what's going on, ma'am. What's happening? Okay, because look, it's going right back to you. Because as above, so below, as within, so without, you are the goddess. Shooting up into the cosmos through your pineal gland is unnecessary because the woman has a womb, a pineal gland, the direct, connection. And so if y'all just talk about it and she manifests for you or do spell work on your behalf, you're good to go. See, a lot of men want to push it out, and that's when they say, you're all used up and you're, da 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 da. A lot of these guys, that's like, it's not good to sleep with certain men who aren't not for your best interest. You know what I'm saying? Or broke, because you're absorbing their lack. They might be trying to manifest some money because they're in a place of lack, and you're going to get that energy in a place of lack. So you don't want to be sleeping with no dusty. All right. So block them, ma'am, in the spiritual way. You said, got it? Mm-hmm. Also, like, you said men are incubus and succubus. You just got to be a witch. Now, if there are, like, if y'all, like, a lot of people have agreements though, like you're like, okay, look, you do this for me, I do this for you. We can do this. We can work it together. Whatever. People have to like make their own choices, but there are a lot of people that are unknowing of this type of stuff and being used. So that's why the masses, they keep the masses dumb, and they promote promiscuity among a lot of women, because, if there's a lot of women who are promiscuous, then a lot of these guys know, okay, well, I can use some of these women for what I need. I can give them a few dollars and use them for what I need. That's why I teach on my other channel, y'all don't sleep with these dudes. Make them pay, and then be like, I changed my mind. You know what I'm saying? Or block them. So, a lot of guys, they look for women so that they can use this type of energy and magic, especially if they're really rich. They're into this kind of information. So you need to block them, and you can play dumb to get their money, but then at the end of the day, you can block. And a lot of stuff is coded that's also in the news as well. So no. A name is also interesting as well. Like, you can guard yourself with a name, like Megan Thee Stallion. She's been in the news recently, and they ruled in her favor, as they should. Okay, so people don't be thinking, or they're just not aware enough. So, like, a stallion is a male horse. It's not a female. So therefore, she's protecting herself just using that name. Okay. So instead of her, having to do too much, she's just blocking it with that masculine energy. That's why, like, when you shoot your shot, or when you shoot something, you're supposed to be like shooting upward, like towards the heavens in the body. But instead, she got shot in the foot because she reversed her gender, which she reversed her triangle. You know what I'm saying? Into a masculine name, the Stallion. Okay, so a stallion is a male horse or Horus. And so it reversed, instead of being an inverted triangle, it then became a straight up triangle. I'm trying to find a triangle. I thought I had the picture. I don't. So, okay, so y'all see the little triangle where it says EO? That's the feminine like symbol, the upside down triangle. So she probably blocked it by saying the stallion, which means when he hit, it was literally going up into another, like the bottom, of the pyramid, or the bottom of the triangle, because the stallion is a masculine name. So that's why she got shot in the foot at the bottom. So magical names, blocking with makeup, cosmetics, foundation, wigs, wig caps, foundation on the part of the wig cap, changing your name up, magic. Divine feminine intuition, ma'am. And if you're both goddess and god, masculine and feminine put together, with your name or your symbolism or whatever, then you're higher over humans. And so she was in her goddess status, and so it was blocked. That's why he got in trouble and she didn't. Okay. And it was like, it could have just been off for show or for a message, or could have happened for real. I don't know. I'm just seeing the symbolism. What is the spiritual implication of a woman tying her tubes? Hey, he ain't going nowhere. So if your tubes are tied, it means your fallopian tubes are tied and your ovaries aren't putting the egg to where it can be fertilized, but your uterus will still shed its lining. So, no egg, no birth, no, you're just going up through a womb that does not contain any type of egg. No, it's tied up in a fallopian tube, and that's where it's at. It doesn't get fertilized. There's a small, very, very small, slim chance of getting pregnant, and also, nothing. What do you think of Sex in the City? I don't. Sparkle, sparkle. That show? That's old. I haven't seen that in years. Sparkle, sparkle. So, a lot of people definitely need to work on, if y'all are sexually active, work on that. And then sometimes people try to use their mentalism on you as well. So also block that way by your name or what you wear, or your mental, your mental witch hatch. Okay. Like, imagine yourself wearing this when you're walking around. It doesn't really have to be on. It can be in your mental, the mental universe. So walk around looking like this. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you. Okay. You will stay unbothered. I know a lot of y'all are from my other channel, and people was trying, they tried, but you know what? I don't care. Because yes, of course. That's what I'd rather be a witch than used and abused. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. You said that's ugly. Well, you don't have to wear it for real. Just imagine it on your head. Imagine this is what is there. So that if someone tries to spiritually or mentally, use their vision to, push through or whatever, sexually with you in mind, this is what you have on. So it ain't going nowhere. All right. Just in vain. Okay. Like literally in vain. Not going anywhere. And then just transmute it into your own energy to what you want it to be for. It says surround yourself with light. You can do that too, but I prefer this. Because literally, if you surround yourself with light, you're sending, where are you sending them? To the light, to the heavens, to the sun? What, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Or is it just a protection light? Send them right back to themselves into the darkness. Like, it's like a combination because it's dark, and then it's supposed to be a cone, but it ends up being a spiral or a circle back in. So it's kind of like they're not able to properly, get to where they're trying to go. Get it? Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. Light might help, think about this. Light might be a source to connect with and amplify. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that light, ma'am. Because see, like a lot of people will write books and teach you stuff that's the opposite of what you should be doing. If you are connected to the divine feminine, or science and all this kind of stuff, if you're surrounded by light, what is light? Is it electricity? Is it just a glow? Is it positive or negative protons and electrons? Is it making your aura even larger, reaching out into the cosmos, so that if they do, try to use you, it's even more amplified? So you gotta kind of like think about certain things before you just accept them. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people will read the Bible and just accept it, but if it doesn't make sense scientifically, logically, spiritually, mentally, then I have to figure it out myself, because I'm a thinker. So light is just going to make it more, bigger. So I'm going to put this on, this little hat, and it ain't going nowhere if I don't want it to. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. You say you think white light, they can't match that vibration. Okay, but you don't. Okay, so you ever heard of a threesome? Bam. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, I got to think. Now, a lot of these thruples and poly, all this kind of stuff about here. You don't know what they're doing. So this is the best bet, ma'am. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So let me explain that. So let's say they have a girlfriend or a wife, and she's stupid and she don't know no better, but they're using her as a mental or physical replacement of you. They don't want her, they don't, they want you and her, or they want both, to use both of y'all's, gateways to the cosmos at the same time, mentally, spiritually, and then physically, with two different people. So block both of them. You ain't got to worry about all that, because if he's using her energy and she can match your white light frequency, then he's got a ride out disguised in her energy. You know what I'm saying? So just block it all. Sprinkle, sprinkle. There you go. Mentally, of course, wear your witch hat. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So someone sent me a article about how women used to wear these curly cone or these cone shaped hats in the old days because they were selling beer. And the hats were tall and like a cone so that people could see over the crowd where the lady was who was selling beer. Y'all know what beer is, right? This is code. And so they started calling these ladies witches because they were taking business away from the men who were selling beer, because they was literally walking around selling this beer with these tall hats on and people could find them easier. Right? The dunce cap. Yeah. And so I think that's code for the beer. You know what beer look like, right? So they're selling these energies that they were receiving, aka beer, to people. And people could identify these women who sold beer because they had these tall cone hats on that were kind of curled over. I think they were usually white back then, but they could have had something black under it. We don't know. Another trick. So they would start calling them witches, and because they were taking away the business from the men, which is literally basically they're not letting the men get their money. They're not letting the men manifest out to the cosmos to bring them money. And so they're stealing their sperm and their, semen and their seed and creating abundance out of that by using it to manifest whatever they want, or to block it and still, get something out of it, the energy that they can transmute. So there you go. Don't let them use you, ma'am. Okay, so if you are mutually understanding and, in a partnership or a relationship where y'all are mutually doing the same thing, then you can block anything that's not what you want. You know what I'm saying, ladies? So, that Bible verse that I read saying that your husband will override what your desire if it's not his. Well, you can override that altogether by saying, if it's not what I want, then nothing gets through. Or if it's not what we both agreed upon, then nothing gets through. Okay. So you can correct that. What do you, Goddess Wild Red, sprinkle, sprinkle. What do you happened to these folks? What do you think happened to these folks who taught wrong information to people? When you usually teach things wrong, people just usually do the opposite and then it's correct. So by teaching wrong, the right is revealed. So it's basically a mirror. You just reverse the image and there you have it. Okay. So you study the images, the symbolism, the language, and then if it's against you, all you got to do is turn it around and then it'll be for you. It's literally it. Mm-hmm. So, you notice how the Bible is written like a law for men to benefit from? Yeah, that's why I don't follow patriarchal religion. And the sad thing is, there are some women that do, but in some religions, and they say, oh, my man takes care of me, and gives me money and all that kind of stuff. And if they're happy, then great. But there's a lot of men that are, doing things that are against what you want. And so some women, they're not going for the okie doke and they block it, because a lot of these women, you can still get your money and then block it still if you know mentalism. mental alchemy, transmutation. That man can pay you and you can still block. So this depends, because like where the entry in and the entry out, you know. So block it if you want. You said pimps. All right. And if you block, they don't have to know what you're doing. Keep it a secret, man. Use that energy to build yourself. All right. So, y'all have any more questions? I'm about to go. Mm-hmm. And you know, some men, when they just sleep with you, they don't even have no intention. They just, you know, they're wasting it. So it doesn't even matter. If the man don't know, you can literally use their intention to manifest for yourself if they don't know what they're doing either, you know. You heard which cone hat represent the womb. Could that also be upside down triangle hat? Well, it's not really upside down, but I see what you're saying. Yes. Because look, let me show you this picture. That's why it's, yeah. It's several things, and it's also representing of the, like the darkness of the womb. Look, let me show y'all. See this? If you turn it upside down, it's a witch's hat. You see where the eye is, like right where the pineal gland would be if you set the hat upon your head. So instead of it piercing through this veil or whatever, it's just going to go down like a period and the lining back into the woman. So all the information is just going to be reversed back into the woman, onto her head. Yes. And they will get your knowledge and your energy, and they can transmute it into for whatever they want. Okay. So what do you want? Like, you want to take that energy and use it. What are you going to use it for? You're going to use it for knowledge, beauty, maintaining your youth, money. I don't know, whatever. So, you know, pictures, symbols, let me get this off the screen real quick, are very important because they can be used in your mental and your spiritual and your imagination, in the physical, whatever. Okay. And if you wear your hat and you proud and you say, yeah, I'm a witch and ain't nobody gonna mess with you, because look, what you gonna do? Just give me all your energy for free and have me transmute it into whatever I want? All right, thank you. I'll take it because it ain't going nowhere. So, he said, be careful who y'all sleep with. Some of these males are evil. That's why you got to be even better. So you got to know your stuff. And so when you know this, it's so much easier. Nobody tries to mess with you. They don't see you as an easy target. Either they approach you correctly and they respect you and your knowledge, or they leave you alone. Okay. And you know, the sad thing is, and I'm going to tell y'all, some women, I don't know if they're in on it or if they're with the males, or I don't know. Some women will side with the patriarchy. And they will be, you know, pretending that they're for the feminine. Okay. And I'm just going to tell y'all. Oh, thank you, girl. Pillar. Sprinkle. Pilar. Appreciate you. And so they will team up with men and they will try to target certain women who they don't like or who they want to exploit or whatever, use up because they think they know something. And guess what? It ends up backfiring because did they forget something? They forget somebody was who they were. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know. Okay, I read that one. A lot of people don't realize this is who I was and who I am. They don't know I wrote a book about all of this in a sense. Or so, it just backfires always. Ends up working out in my favor. Okay. You said you reap what you sow. As above, so below, as within, so without. You don't know who you messing with sometimes, so don't mess with them. And it's not, okay, so here's my thing. It's not my fault or your fault as a woman what happens to their energy or the spirits or the mental or the whatever of certain people that are trying to use you. It's not your fault what happens to them just because you protect yourself. If they had bad or evil intentions or malintentions, then it's not your fault. Okay? So just remember, if people were not doing things correctly or they were against you or trying to do something or harm you or do something or use you and they didn't know a lot of stuff about you and they literally just were led into a trap, that's the risk that they took. Okay? Because, y'all remember that Katy Perry song, Dark Horse? Coming at you like a dark horse. You want to play with magic? You boy, you better know what you're falling for. Do you dare to do this? So that song literally was trying to tell people, look, you don't know who I am, sir. Don't try it. It's not worth it. And at the end of that video, like all these guys try to come up to her and then she gets rid of them, like turns them into ashes or whatever. And the last guy that tries to come up to her, he doesn't try to like disrespect her. And then he turns into like a little puppy dog. And then she goes and gets on top of the pyramid and stands up like, she's the goddess or whatnot. So the last guy didn't try to do her dirty. That's why he survived, even though, he was like still less than, but he survived. That's a funny video. And it's because you don't know what's happening. You don't know what this person knows, what they do, how they are spiritually, if they know magic, if they have certain names, if they use mentalism, if they have their tubes tied, if they dress up sometimes as things, or hats that they wear. You don't know how crazy a person is. And so you don't really want to try anything on just anybody. All right. Can't mess with the divine, yeah. Like, don't let looks fool you. People are reading what? And sometimes they'll try to use like sometimes a lot of these guys that practice magic, they will try to use words to trigger something in your subconscious. So that's why it's very important to learn what words mean and the etymology of words and all this kind of stuff, because they may just say something and it may seem like just something normal or off, just a little bit off, but you just, shrug it off. But literally, sometimes what they're telling you is almost like a dominance type of thing. And so if you're understanding of what it is, or what it is, then it has no dominance over you, because knowledge is power. Okay. So you said warlock, yeah. It's not a lock if you already locked up. Witch lock. So a lot of times they'll try to tell you something, because if they tell you, they can't say, well, I didn't, you can't say I didn't tell you or warn you. So, I'm not going to suffer for any misleading you, because I told you. You just weren't paying attention and you didn't know what these words meant. So it's not my fault of ignorance, of your ignorance. But guess what? A lot of women that are connected to the divine feminine, who are psychic and also who study and know things, they know exactly what you're saying. They just play dumb sometimes just to see what you're going to do. Okay. You said word salad. Yeah. Sometimes you just I'm going to see where he taking this, because this is hilarious. And visual too. Like they'll try to give you visuals to trigger your subconscious mind into thinking something. But it's hilarious, literally. Like, I know what you're trying to do. Okay, well, let me see how far you go, because it's all gonna get blocked anyway. Let me just let you go through the motions and waste your time, energy. It's because I'm gonna take it. So it's literally they spend a lot of money. It's so funny, because men will spend a lot of money trying to set you up mentally, spiritually, and all this kind of stuff, in order to manifest through you, whatever, because they know your connection and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, if they don't know that you know anything, they're literally just wasting their time and energy and resources. But let them do it, because it's fun to watch. And then when it's blocked, it's like, okay, well, oh well, thanks. See you never. Bye. You said that's crazy. That's why you don't build with him. Yeah, don't do it. You say, yes, you're an Aquarius, and sometimes it's entertaining. I like to see the effort. Like, how much effort you gonna put in here, and how much am I worth? See what you gonna do. I'll say I've been impressed a few times by how far some of them went, but they got blocked. All right. When they can't get you, they'll try to team up with other women and stuff. So it still doesn't work, because you can sense the masculinity in a woman very easily. And if you are connected with the divine feminine, and you can sense a lot of stuff in people, and so you already know to watch out for certain people, because they're probably not in your best interest either. And so literally all of them just get blocked into the underworld. And sprinkle. You said they will deplete you if you allow it. Nope, don't allow it. Block them, baby. Put your witch hat on. Play some Michael Jackson. um, and see what happens. So, do y'all know what his name means? I mean, have y'all decoded Michael Jackson's name? So, your name is very interesting. He had two names: stage name, birth name. Um, so tell me what it mean in there. Come on. Let's see if y'all see, I know y'all know. Mm-hmm. Let me see what y'all are saying. Son of man. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me tell y'all something funny. Y'all want to hear something funny? So, okay, so this is the stage name, right? Okay, and his name, legal middle name is Joe, not Joseph. Okay. Hmm. So so Joe just means God will add. Okay, or and Jackson means son of Jack or son of John or son of man, right? And Michael means he who is like God. And so he who is like God, God will increase. And then Jackson is son of man, right? So he who is like God, God will increase the son of man. So basically it means whoever is like God, um, or creator, which is why Michael was androgynous because he was masculine and feminine. So he was more like a god, like because he was closer to the divine feminine. So he who is like the divine feminine, and then his middle name was Joe, which means God will add, and then Jackson, son of man, or will increase. So basically, it means he's going to take the energy of these men trying to get through and add to his own abundance, or to transmute that energy, or to keep it blocked. That's why when they use the Archangel Michael in some of these spiritual, things, they block the lower self or the lower part from rising up past the stone or the rock or the pineal gland, right? And he uses a sword, which is his masculine side, but he wears red and blue, which is the divine feminine and the masculine. That's why he always wore those two colors. And angels are more androgynous versus humans, and so he took that role on. And so when you are a woman and you use Archangel Michael, he protects children and women. And also, if you dress up like Archangel Michael, or if you dress up like Michael Jackson, it's a wrap. All right. So That's another thing you could do. And then you can jack their sons, like, not like, jack means to take, or to or man, or like to sun them. You can take their energy and use it for whatever you want, because you can slay all day. So you said what? That's why people think Michael Jackson is Trump. Be wearing red and blue tie. Yeah, when they're wearing the blue tie, they're speaking from the divine feminine, and when they're wearing the other tie, the red tie, they speak from the masculine, right? So you gotta pay attention to the ties they got on. But since he keeps switching it up, he's very into the Michael Apollo type stuff, and him and Michael's friends and stuff. So a lot of people will try to tarnish someone's image so that their power and their influence and the way that people like them can go away, so that they can release that, they can get rid of that energy from blocking. You know what I'm saying? And so this, this is it. This is my last, this is it. He's retiring. So if you are, if it's mental and he's not here, he's gone, or you think he's gone, then you're going to be spiritually left, mentally left without a guardian. You know what I'm saying? If you were Catholic, or if you believed in the angels, or if you were just psychologically, or what do you call it? If you were just subliminally thinking this, you might not know it consciously, but it might have been something unconscious. So you broke the internet when the news of his, death hit. So he broke the internet, literally shut it down. The first person to break the internet. And so, like, after that, a lot of toxic masculinity and stuff started coming through, and ratchetness like increased, and a lot of bad things started happening, and a lot of promiscuity, and men using women for this, that, and a lot of like just issues for everything, right? And so that's like the end time, where everything goes chaotic and then it has to reset itself. And so now it's resetting itself with the divine feminine. And her knowledge increased, so she knows how to protect herself in every way. Mm-hmm. And teaching others. And so, you got to be creative, though. A lot of people aren't creative, and they just read a book and do what the book says, even if the book was written by a man, or a woman that just read it from another book that was written by a man. Because you have to think about this a lot of times. A lot of these occult books were written by men. So you got to change it. I have taken books and totally changed the wording to benefit the divine feminine. So you're going to have to get your little pen out, because I found this old book and I was reading it and I was offended. I said, I know you lying. Let me get my pen right quick and change everything. Make it work to my advantage. And so you can do that with the Bible. You can do that with all the holy books. You could do that with all the occult books, but you can't follow them because they're written from a masculine perspective to benefit the masculine. So you have to start finding books that are written by the divine feminine, or women, or men who are, understanding what the power of the divine feminine, and they're working with her versus against her or using her. So you really have to think about what types of books you're buying and who wrote them and why you got to change them. Because I be changing mine and people think I'm crazy. Why are you writing in that book? Because it's wrong. Well, the audacity of you, or the audacity of them, you know. Well, that's someone else's work. Well, I bought it, so now it's my copy, and I can do with it what I choose. So, but now there's more female authors that are writing from the female perspective. So try to buy from the feminine perspective when you buy books, and don't just follow stuff because it says that's what you're supposed to do. Really think about the symbolism in your spell work or in your rituals, and if they're benefiting you or not. Like, what herbs are you using? Are they masculine or feminine? What elements are you using? What are they trying to accomplish? What are da 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 da. Is this for the greater good of the divine feminine, or is it working against it? So you got to think about it. But usually you'll be good if you just read through it. And the tarot cards, like, a woman drew the tarot cards. What, Pamela White? I think that's her name. Wait. So, a lot of the symbolism on the tarot cards, even though a woman drew them, she was commissioned to draw them. Tarot means pathway. There's paths to the cosmos, paths to your life. So if you just look at some of the symbolism on tarot cards, there are different artists now with different symbolism on your cards. So be aware of that, because just because the artist was a woman does not mean that the work is not working against you, because she could have just been commissioned. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of the symbolism on the cards, and it's more of a masculine feel. And so find cards that resonate with you in the divine feminine versus just some cards that don't. All right. Sprinkle. Yeah, the Goddess Tarot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So y'all got to be very selective at this time. Okay. She said she died penniless. Pamela Coleman Smith. Yep. You never know. So, just be careful, because some women who work for corporations or for other people or men, you have a boss over you. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful, because also working and allowing them to take credit for a lot of things is spiritually the same thing. That's why I don't believe in building up a company or corporation. Start your own business. Okay. All right, I'm getting ready to go because I've been on here too long, but I enjoyed talking to y'all and helping y'all understand, or y'all helping each other understand in the comments. That's very good. And like I said, this is not male bashing. It's just the certain men that want to exploit and use certain women for their own agenda, thinking that the women are ignorant. So it's not all men. It's just the ones that target the women, and the women that help them target the women. So right now, since the divine feminine is returning, we know better, or there's women out there teaching. So don't fall for the okie doke and block them at all costs, and transmute that energy into something, good for you. And they'll never know what happened. They'll be like, what happened? Why is it didn't work? Why is everything not going the way it's supposed to? Because you underestimated. All right. Yeah, sprinkle, sprinkle. I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all share this video if you think someone needs it, and have a great rest of your evening. And y'all see it, it's a full moon. That divine feminine energy. Okay. We'll talk about the moon another time. There's lots of code there too. So we'll do this again another day. But I'll see y'all later.